A billionaire wakes up beside his clumsy assistant. A night no one can explain. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's video, I need your help. We have noticed that the channel is losing traction, and subscribing is one of the best ways you can help us. It is quick, it is free, and it allows us to continue bringing you great content. Your support means everything. Let us keep this channel growing collectively. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let us come back to our main character. He is a billionaire who controls entire rooms with a glance. But this morning, he cannot even control his own breathing. When Adrian Cross opens his eyes, the first thing he sees is silk sheets, city light, and the ceiling of his penthouse. The second thing he sees makes his blood turn cold. Nora Hayes, his assistant, asleep, right beside him, not on a couch, not in a guest chair, in his bed. For a moment, Adrian does not move. The air feels too thin. The skyline outside the glass walls looks normal, like the world did not just tilt off its axis. His mind reaches for last night and finds nothing. Not a blur, not a haze, just a clean, terrifying blank. His gaze snaps to the clock. 6:22 in the morning. He swallows slow. He does not drink. He does not lose control. He does not bring employees into his private life. And Nora is the kind of woman who trips over nothing and apologizes to door frames. She is the woman who carries sticky notes like armor. The woman who flinches when executives raise their voices, then stays late anyway to fix what they broke. She breathes softly, curled toward the edge of the bed like she is trying not to take up space. One hand is still wrapped around her worn leather planner, pressed to her chest like a life vest. Adrian's eyes flick to the nightstand. 2 water glasses, a bottle of aspirin, his phone face down, and a thin, black folder he recognizes instantly. An employee confidentiality agreement. His company's seal stamped on the corner. The folder is open. Adrian sits up too fast, sheets sliding down his waist, pulse pounding hard enough to hurt. He looks at his own hand as if it belongs to someone else. Then he hears it. A tiny sound, almost a whimper. Nora stirs. Her lashes flutter. Her brow tightens like she is waking from a nightmare she cannot name. She opens her eyes, focuses, and the moment she realizes where she is, her entire body locks. She bolts upright, so quickly her planner drops onto the bed with a soft thud. Her hair is a messy halo. There is a faint smear of mascara under one eye. Her mouth opens, closes, opens again. I am so sorry, she whispers, voice rough like she has not slept in days. I do not know. I do not know why I am here. Adrian's throat tightens. He forces his voice to stay level, but it comes out low and sharp. Neither do I. Nora's gaze flicks around the room like she expects cameras to drop from the ceiling. Her hands shake as she pulls the sheet up to her collarbone. Not seductive, not coy, just pure panic, pure self-protection. I swear to you, she says, faster now, words tripping over each other the way she always does when she is stressed. Nothing happened. I mean, I do not remember, but I would never, and you would never, and I would never put you in that position, and I am sorry, I am sorry, I am sorry. Adrian watches her, and something in his chest twists. This is not a woman trying to trap a billionaire. This is a woman terrified she is about to be crushed under the weight of his name. He glances again at the open folder. His signature is there. His handwriting. Real. Nora follows his eyes. Her face drains of color. No, she breathes. That is not. I did not open that. I would not. I would rather lose my job than. Her voice breaks on the last word. Adrian exhales through his nose, slow, controlled, like he is calming a storm inside his own ribs. He forces himself to look at her like a person, not a problem. Nora, he says, and it is the first time he has ever used her name without a title attached to it. Stop. Breathe. She tries. She fails. Her fingers clutch the sheet so tight her knuckles go white. Outside, the city keeps moving. Cars glide like nothing matters. Somewhere below, someone laughs. The world does not know what just happened in the top floor of Adrian Cross's life. But it will. Because in a company like his, rumors do not walk. They sprint. And Adrian can already feel the first crack forming in the silence. He looks at Nora's planner on the bed. The cover is scuffed. Corners softened by years of being carried. A small paper tab sticks out from the side, handwritten in neat ink. Do not mess up. You need this job. Adrian's jaw tightens. If this story gets told the wrong way, she does not just lose a paycheck. She loses her dignity. And he realizes, with a sudden, sick clarity, that the most dangerous part of this morning is not what happened. It is what everyone will assume happened, and whether he will finally do something about it. Nora does not remember how she gets out of the penthouse. She just knows she is suddenly in the elevator, hugging her planner to her chest like it can keep her upright, staring at her own reflection in the mirrored wall and not recognizing the woman looking back. Her hair is a mess. Her cheeks are blotchy. Her eyes look like she has not slept in a year. When the elevator doors open to the lobby, the doorman greets her politely, like she belongs there. That is what makes her throat burn, because she does not belong there. Not in that building. Not in that life. Not in a billionaire's bed. Outside, the morning air bites. The city feels too loud, too bright, too normal. Nora keeps her head down, walking fast, like speed can erase what happened. Her phone vibrates in her pocket. She flinches so hard she almost drops it. But it is not a message from Adrian Cross. It is a reminder. Rent due today. Her stomach twists. She forces herself to breathe through it, one shaky breath at a time, and keeps walking. By the time she reaches her small apartment, her legs feel like they are carrying someone else. Inside, the place smells like yesterday's coffee and laundry detergent. A half-folded blanket sits on the couch. A stack of envelopes leans against a fruit bowl that only has 2 bruised apples in it. Her roommate, Tessa Morgan, is at the kitchen counter, scrolling on her phone in sweatpants, hair piled on top of her head. Tessa looks up and freezes. "Nora," she says carefully. "Are you okay?" Nora tries to answer. Her voice does not come out right away. Then it spills out all at once. "I messed up," Nora whispers, setting her planner down with trembling hands. "I messed up so badly." Tessa steps closer, eyes wide. "What happened?" Nora opens her mouth, then shuts it again. "How do you explain something that sounds insane even in your own head?" "I woke up somewhere I should not have been," she says, voice tight. "And I cannot explain it." Tessa studies her face, then pulls out a chair and gently guides her into it like Nora is made of glass. "Were you hurt?" Tessa asks. "No," Nora says quickly. "No, nothing like that. That is not what I mean." Her hands curl together in her lap, fingers twisting. "It is my job," Nora says. "It is my entire life. If this gets out, I am done." Tessa's expression softens, but there is a flicker of fear too. Was it him? Nora does not have to ask who. She nods once, barely. Tessa exhales slowly. "Oh my God." Nora presses her palms to her eyes as if she can push the memory back into the dark. "I did not do anything," she says, voice cracking. "I would never. I know what people think about girls like me in rooms like that. I know how fast they decide what kind of person you are." Tessa's jaw tightens. People do not get to decide that. Nora laughs once, humorless. "They will anyway." She looks down at her planner. The cover is scuffed from years of being squeezed in subway bags and wedged between file folders. On the inside flap, in her own handwriting, is a list she wrote when she was desperate enough to need rules. Pay rent. Pay debt. Keep your job. Do not become a story. Nora swallows hard. And across the city, Adrian Cross sits in silence, staring at an empty space on the edge of his bed where Nora was just hours ago. He is already dressed in a crisp shirt, his hair perfect, his watch gleaming like nothing happened. But something did happen. Something he cannot explain. He stands at the floor-to-ceiling window of his penthouse office, watching traffic move like veins through the city. He tries to force his mind into boardroom mode. It will not cooperate. The open folder on his nightstand keeps flashing in his memory like a warning light. The confidentiality agreement. His signature. The company's seal. His phone buzzes. Calendar alerts. Investor calls. A breakfast meeting that was supposed to happen in 40 minutes. Adrian's assistant should be outside with his schedule. But his assistant is Nora Hayes, and Nora is not here. A knock sounds at the door. "Come in," Adrian says, voice controlled. Miles Bennett steps inside. Adrian's chief of staff, sharp and efficient, holding a tablet like it is an extension of his hand. "Good morning," Miles says. Then he pauses. His eyes narrow slightly. "Sir, you look like you did not sleep." Adrian does not blink. "Cancel the breakfast meeting with Hargrove." Miles hesitates. "That meeting has been on the books for 6 weeks." "Cancel it," Adrian repeats. Miles taps his tablet, but his gaze stays on Adrian. "Is there an emergency?" Adrian's jaw tightens. He could say yes. He could say no. He could say nothing. Instead, he says the truth, in the smallest way possible. I met someone, Adrian says. Miles raises an eyebrow, surprised. Accidentally, Adrian adds, as if the word tastes unfamiliar. Miles's expression shifts from curiosity to caution. Someone new. Adrian's eyes flick to the empty chair where Nora usually sits during briefings, taking notes, fixing mistakes, quietly saving him from himself. My assistant, Adrian says. Miles goes still. Nora Hayes. Adrian nods once. For a long moment, there is nothing but the low hum of the city outside and the faint click of Miles's tablet as his fingers stop moving. Miles speaks carefully. Do you want me to contact legal? Adrian's voice turns colder. No, Miles watches him. Do you want me to contact human resources? Adrian's gaze hardens. Absolutely not. Miles sets the tablet down slightly, like he is trying to lower the temperature in the room. Then what do you want to do? Adrian exhales through his nose. He thinks of Nora's shaking hands. The way she pulled the sheet to her throat like she was bracing for impact. The way she said she would rather lose her job than be the kind of person people assume she is. And Adrian realizes something that makes his chest tighten. This is not just about him. This is about what his world does to people like her. I want to speak. To her. Adrian says, voice steady now. Privately. Before anyone else gets to her first. Miles nods once. I can arrange that. Adrian picks up his phone. His thumb hovers over the contact list. Nora Hayes. He stares at her name. Then he taps it. And across town, in a tiny apartment with overdue rent and too many quiet fears, Nora's phone begins to ring from an unfamiliar number. Nora stares at the ringing phone like it is a live wire. The screen shows an unfamiliar number, but her body already knows who it is. Her stomach drops, cold and heavy, and for one irrational second, she considers letting it go to voicemail and pretending she never saw it. Tessa watches from across the kitchen, not breathing. Nora, she says quietly, you cannot ignore that. Nora's fingers hover. Then she answers, because fear has never paid her rent. Hello. Her voice is thin, careful, like she is speaking through a cracked door. There is a pause on the other end. A controlled inhale. Nora, Adrian Cross says. Hearing her name in his voice makes her spine tighten. It does not sound angry. It sounds worse than angry. It sounds calm, which means it could become anything. Yes, Nora manages. Sir. Another pause. I need to see you, Adrian says. Privately. Nora grips the edge of the chair. I'm on my way to the office. You are not, he replies. Not cruel. Just certain. Nora swallows. I cannot miss work. I am not asking, he says, and then, as if he realizes how that lands, his voice shifts by half a degree. Softer. I do not want anyone else speaking to you before I do. That sentence hits her differently. It lands like a warning, not a threat. Her eyes flick to the stack of envelopes on the counter. Rent due today. Late fee tomorrow. Eviction notice if she falls behind again. She tries to keep her voice steady. What do you want to talk about? The truth, Adrian says. And what we are going to do next. Nora's throat tightens. Sir, I do not remember anything. I do not have answers. I do not either, he says. That is the point. Silence stretches. Nora can hear her own heartbeat. She can hear Tessa's phone buzzing with a news alert from some celebrity scandal that has nothing to do with them. But Nora knows how scandals work. She has watched them swallow people whole. Where? Nora asks. A coffee shop, Adrian says, and for the first time, there is something almost human in his tone, like he is trying to make this less terrifying. On Westbridge and 9th. 30 minutes. Nora hesitates. Why there? Because it is public enough that you will feel safe, he says, and quiet enough that we can speak. Her fingers curl tighter around the phone. Safety. That word should comfort her. It does not. Okay, she whispers. Bring whatever you were holding this morning, Adrian adds. Nora's eyes drop to her planner on the table. Her face warms with embarrassment. My planner. Yes, he says. Please. Then the line goes dead. Nora lowers the phone slowly. Like if she moves too fast, reality will snap. Tessa leans forward. What did he say? Nora exhales, shaky. He wants to meet. Tessa's eyes narrow. Alone. At a coffee shop, Nora says. In 30 minutes. Tessa stands immediately. I am coming with you. Nora shakes her head, already feeling the weight of what that would look like. You cannot. If anyone sees us, They will start building stories. It will turn into something bigger. Tessa grimaces, but she nods. Then at least text me when you get there. And keep your location on. Nora nods back, grateful, then grabs her coat from the back of the chair. Her hands move on autopilot, but her brain is loud. On the way out, her gaze catches her planner again. The tabbed pages, the lists, the tight handwriting that holds her life together. And tucked into the back pocket, something she almost forgot was there. A small sketchbook, cheap paper, a bent corner, the kind she buys at the discount store because it is all she can afford. She hesitates, then pulls it out. Inside are drawings she never shows anyone, not even Tessa. Soft pencil sketches of storefronts, window displays, cozy interiors with warm lighting. A tiny note in the margin beside one drawing. Someday. My own place. Nora presses her thumb over the word someday until it smudges. Because someday feels impossible right now. But she still slides the sketchbook into her bag anyway. Outside, the city wind cuts through her coat as she walks to the subway. Her shoes squeak on the steps, and she keeps her head down, trying to look like a woman on an ordinary morning with an ordinary job. But nothing about this morning is ordinary. 30 minutes later, the coffee shop is warm and bright, smelling like espresso and baked muffins. People type on laptops. Couples talk quietly. A barista calls out names like life is simple. Nora steps inside, scanning the tables, her heart pounding hard enough to make her lightheaded. And then she sees him. Adrian Cross sits alone in the back corner. No suit jacket, just a dark sweater that makes him look almost normal, almost like a man who belongs in a coffee shop instead of a boardroom. Almost. He looks up as she approaches, and in his eyes there is no smugness, no victory. There is something else. Something like the same question that has been haunting her since she woke up. How did this happen? And why does it feel like the answer is going to change everything? Nora stops at the edge of Adrian's table like she is not sure she is allowed to sit. The coffee shop is warm, ordinary, full of people who do not know his name, and that is exactly why he picked it. In here, he is just a man with a cup of coffee, not the billionaire who can end careers with a sentence. Adrian stands halfway, polite but careful. Thank you for coming. Nora nods once. I did not come for me. I came because I cannot afford rumors. He sits back down slowly, palms open on the table. No power pose. No intimidation. I agree, he says. That is why we are here. Nora's eyes flick to his hands, then to his face, searching for the hidden trap. Then tell me what you know. Adrian holds her gaze. I know we both woke up confused. I know there was aspirin and water. I know neither of us remembers how it ended. And I know that if anyone at the office gets the wrong idea, you will be the one punished. Nora's throat tightens. She tries to swallow past it. People always punish the wrong person. Adrian's jaw sets, like the words hit something personal. Not this time. The barista calls out a name. Someone laughs near the window. Nora's hands stay folded tight in her lap, as if she is afraid they will betray her. Adrian gestures to the menu board. What do you want? Coffee, tea, anything. Nora shakes her head quickly. Nothing. I do not want you paying for anything. A faint, almost surprised smile touches his mouth. That is consistent with you. Nora blinks. What does that mean? It means you always act like you are one mistake away from losing everything, he says, quieter now. Even when you are the one holding everything together. Nora's face warms. She looks down. It is called being realistic. He studies her for a beat. Is it? Nora does not answer. She cannot. Because if she admits it is fear, then she has to admit how long she has lived with it. Adrian's gaze shifts to her bag at her feet. You brought your planner. Nora stiffens. You told me to. He nods, then hesitates, as if he is about to cross a line. There was something else in your bag this morning. Nora's fingers curl. What? Adrian keeps his voice neutral. A sketchbook. Nora's heart gives a hard, sharp thump. She did not expect him to notice that. She certainly did not expect him to say it out loud. That is not, it is nothing, she says too fast. Adrian leans forward slightly, not aggressive, just curious. It is not nothing. You carry it like it matters. Nora's eyes narrow. Why are we talking about my sketchbook? Because I need to understand who you are, Adrian says. Not the version the office thinks you are. Not the version rumors will invent. The real version. Nora exhales, shaky and annoyed at herself for feeling seen. The real version is tired. Adrian nods like he understands that language. Then tell me why you draw. Nora opens her mouth to deflect again, but something in his expression stops her. He is not collecting leverage. He is listening. It is how I breathe, she admits quietly. It is what I do when I feel like I am disappearing. Adrian's eyes stay on hers. And what do you want, Nora? The question feels too big for a coffee shop table. Nora's fingers slide to the strap of her bag. I want a small studio someday, she says, barely above a whisper. Nothing fancy. Just a place where people can come in, feel safe, make something. A place that does not judge you for where you came from. Adrian's throat tightens, almost imperceptibly. That is a good dream. Nora lets out a humorless breath. It is an expensive dream. He glances away for a second, like he is thinking about the numbers he could throw at that dream. Then he looks back at her and says, carefully, I am not here to offer you money. Nora blinks, startled. Then why are you here? Adrian's gaze holds steady. Because this morning, you looked at me like I was dangerous. And the worst part is, you were not wrong to be afraid. Nora's chest tightens. I am not afraid of you. I am afraid of what people will do with your name. Adrian nods once. Then we agree on the real problem. Silence hangs between them, heavy but different now. Less panic. More truth. Adrian gestures toward the door, like he is offering her an exit instead of a cage. Walk with me. Nora hesitates. Where? Just outside, he says. There is a park a few blocks away. You can leave at any time. I will not follow you. Nora watches his face, waiting for arrogance. It does not come. Against her own instincts, she stands. They walk through the city like two people who should not be walking together. A billionaire and his assistant. Power and vulnerability side by side. The park is small but peaceful, winter bare trees lining the path, benches worn smooth from years of use. Nora's shoulders drop a fraction, like her body remembers this place. This is where you come, Adrian says softly. Nora nods. When I need air. She sits on a bench, pulls out her sketchbook before she can talk herself out of it, and flips to the first page. Pencil lines. Storefronts. Faces. Shadows. Little worlds she has built with nothing but patience. Adrian's expression changes as he looks. Not polite admiration. Not corporate praise. Something quieter. These are incredible, he says, and his voice is so steady it almost hurts. Nora, you could sell these. Nora laughs under her breath, embarrassed. Maybe one day. For now they are just for me. Adrian watches her pencil hover over the page. Show me. Nora hesitates, then starts to draw. Her hand steadies. Her breathing evens out. The noise of the city fades. A man stands by the pond tossing small crumbs for the ducks, and Nora captures the curve of his shoulders, the ripple of water, the soft tilt of the morning light. No children. No spectacle. Just ordinary life, rendered gently. Adrian sits beside her, silent, like he is afraid to break something. After a while, he says, almost to himself, you are different when you draw. Nora glances up. Different how? Like you stop apologizing for existing, he says. Nora's throat tightens again. She looks back down at her sketchbook, but her voice comes out honest. People do not like it when someone like me stops apologizing. Adrian's gaze hardens, not at her, but at the world she is describing. Then they will have to learn. And for the first time since that impossible morning, Nora feels a small, dangerous thing rise in her chest. Not hope. Not yet. But the fragile beginning of it. A few days pass, and the world does not end. No headline appears. No email from human resources. No whisper reaches Nora's desk that makes her stomach flip inside out. Still, every morning feels like she is walking into a room full of invisible tripwires. She keeps her head down. She answers calls. She triple-checks calendars. She apologizes when she does not need to. Adrian watches it all from his glass office like he is seeing her for the first time. Not as a job title. As a person. Late one afternoon, Nora steps out of the office and heads straight to a small discount market a few blocks away. It is where she shops because the prices do not punish her for being poor. Her basket fills with the careful math of survival. Rice, canned soup, eggs, a carton of milk, generic cereal. When she turns at the end of an aisle, she almost crashes into a man reaching for a loaf of bread. Her heart stops. Adrian Cross. He is dressed down again. Baseball cap low, dark jacket, no driver waiting outside. He looks out of place in a way that would be funny if it did not make her nervous. Nora grips her basket tighter. Sir. Adrian looks genuinely surprised to see her. Nora. She glances around instinctively, as if the shelves have ears. What are you doing here? Buying groceries, he says, as if that is normal for him. Nora cannot help it. A small, shaky laugh slips out. You are going to regret this. Adrian raises an eyebrow. Why is that? She lifts her basket slightly. Because these bags are heavy. Something shifts in his expression, like he understands the joke is not really a joke. It is a life she carries every day. I can carry them, he says simply. Nora stiffens. You do not have to do that. I know, Adrian replies. I want to. She is about to argue again, but he is already reaching for the handle of her basket, taking the weight with quiet ease, like it is nothing. And that is what makes her chest tighten. Because for him, it is nothing. For her, it is everything. At the checkout line, Nora tries to keep it casual. People are going to stare. No one knows me here, Adrian says, watching the cashier scan items without looking up. Nora swallows. Someone always knows. Adrian glances at her, then lowers his voice. Then we will act like we belong. Nora does not respond, because she does not know how to explain that she has never felt like she belonged anywhere. Outside the market, the wind is sharp. Nora pulls her coat tighter as Adrian takes both bags like they weigh nothing. You are going to hurt your back, she says. Adrian looks at the plastic handles biting into his fingers. I have carried heavier things. Nora wants to ask what he means, but the words do not come. Instead, she walks beside him, step by step, toward the peeling brick building she calls home. The stairwell smells like old paint and detergent. The hallway light flickers, dim and stubborn. Adrian's gaze sweeps the chipped door frames, the narrow corridor, the worn carpet. He does not say anything cruel. He does not make a face. But Nora sees the contrast anyway. Penthouse glass versus this. She unlocks her apartment door and pushes it open quickly, like she is ashamed of how small her life looks from the outside. This is it, she says. Adrian steps in and pauses. The space is small, but it is not empty. Art supplies are scattered across a corner table. Pencil cups, cheap paint tubes, a roll of tape. Sketches are pinned to the wall like a homemade gallery. For the first time since Nora met him, Adrian looks quiet in a way that does not feel controlled. It feels moved. This is you, he says softly. Nora sets her keys down too fast. It is messy. It is. Alive, Adrian replies. She opens cabinets, busying her hands as they unpack groceries. So, now you have seen it. You can stop pretending I am interesting. Adrian watches her stack canned food with practiced precision. I am not pretending. Nora freezes for half a second, then forces herself to keep moving. Why are you doing this? Adrian's voice is steady. Because you let me sit beside you and be normal for a minute. Nora turns, confused. Normal? He looks around her apartment again. The sketches. The uneven stack of mail on the counter. The cracked mug drying by the sink. The truth of an ordinary life. Yes, he says. Normal. Nora swallows and looks away, because her eyes suddenly sting. I do not have time to be normal. I have bills. Adrian's gaze sharpens, not at her, but at the world that forces her to say that. Nora clears her throat, trying to change the subject before she gets too emotional. My mom calls around this time. Adrian's head tilts slightly. Is she nearby? Nora hesitates. She is across town. She is not doing great. Adrian's voice lowers. Health. Nora nods. Medical bills. It is why I work so much. She used to tell me my drawings were a gift. Now I just want her to be okay. Adrian's eyes hold hers. She sounds strong. She is, Nora says quickly, then laughs under her breath. Stronger than me. Adrian does not argue. He simply says, I do not believe that. The room falls quiet. Nora feels the air change again, like it did in the park. Like something is growing in the space between them that neither of them planned. To break the tension, Nora grabs her coat from a hook by the door. There is an art gallery opening tonight. Adrian looks surprised. You are going? Nora nods. I do not usually. Tickets are expensive, but it is free tonight, and I have been looking forward to it. She hesitates, then adds, almost against her own instincts, you do not have to come. Adrian answers immediately. I want to. So they go. The gallery is bright and clean, filled with polished people holding wine glasses and speaking softly like the world has never hurt them. Nora's shoulders tighten the moment she walks in. Adrian notices. He stays close, but not possessive, just present. As they move through the exhibits, Nora's face changes. Her eyes light up as she studies brushstrokes and color choices. She looks less like an assistant trying to survive and more like an artist remembering who she is. Adrian watches her more than he watches the paintings. They stop in front of a large canvas, a scene of a lake at dusk, a father and daughter fishing from a worn dock. The colors are warm and aching, like memory. Nora's breath catches. Adrian turns slightly. What is it? Nora's voice comes out small. This reminds me of my dad. Her eyes shine, and she looks embarrassed by it. We used to go fishing every summer when I was little. He would pack peanut butter sandwiches and act like it was a feast. She wipes at her eyes quickly. Sorry, that is silly. It is not silly, Adrian says, and the softness in his voice surprises her. Without thinking, he places a careful hand on her shoulder. Not intimate, not bold, just steady. He would be proud of you, Adrian says. For a moment, the gallery noise fades. The polished laughter, the clinking glasses, the curated wealth. There is only Nora, trying not to break, and Adrian, standing beside her like he is choosing to be there. As they walk home later, the city feels colder. Nora's thoughts tangle into one question she cannot keep buried anymore. She stops on the sidewalk and looks at him, the streetlights reflecting in his eyes. I do not get it, she says. Adrian slows. You do not get what? Nora forces the words out. Why you were spending time with me. Adrian holds her gaze, and for a second, it looks like he might finally tell her the whole truth. Then he only says, quietly, honestly, because when you look at me, you do not look at what I own. You look at what I am. Nora's heart stutters, and in the silence that follows, she realizes something terrifying. She is starting to look forward to seeing him, and she has no idea what that will cost her. Nora tells herself she will not go. When the invitation arrives in her inbox, stamped with the company logo in formal language, she stares at it for a long time as if the words might rearrange themselves into something safer. Carter Foundation Winter Benefit. Black tie optional. Donation driven. Nora reads the last line twice. All executive staff are expected to attend. Expected means required. Required means one mistake away from unemployment. Unemployment means her mother's prescriptions do not get filled. So she goes. The night of the event, Nora stands in front of her bathroom mirror wearing a borrowed navy dress that Tessa insists looks classy, not desperate. The hem is a little long. The shoes pinch. Nora keeps tugging at the fabric like she can pull herself out of her own skin. Breathe, Tessa says from the doorway. You are not doing anything wrong by existing in a nice room. Nora forces a small smile. Tell my nervous system that. Tessa steps closer and gently fixes a strand of Nora's hair. If anyone talks down to you, you stand tall. You hear me. Nora nods, but her stomach still twists as she leaves. Downtown, the hotel ballroom glows like a jewel box. Crystal lights. White flowers. Servers moving like choreography. Nora feels every step she takes, like her shoes are too loud on the marble. She tries to keep her focus small. Get inside. Blend in. Do not trip. Do not become a story. When she reaches the check-in table, a volunteer smiles. Name. Nora Hayes, she says. The volunteer scans a list, then brightens. Oh, you are with Mr. Cross. Nora's pulse stutters. I am with the company. The volunteer tilts her head politely, as if that answer is adorable. Of course. Table 12. Nora takes the card and walks into the ballroom, surrounded by people who look expensive in the way she has never been. She spots co-workers across the room, clustered in perfect circles of laughter. She moves toward them, hoping to disappear into familiarity. Then she hears her name. Not shouted, not announced, whispered. That is her. Nora steps slow. She glances sideways and sees two women near the bar, watching her with practiced curiosity. One of them leans toward the other. I heard she is the reason Adrian canceled the Hargrove deal meeting. The other woman smirks. Of course she is. Heat crawls up Nora's neck. She keeps walking as if she did not hear them, but every muscle in her body tightens. She reaches her team. One coworker gives her a careful smile, the kind people use when they already decided what you are. Nora, a man says, voice 2. Bright. You made it. Nora nods. I had to. Someone laughs softly. Yeah. Would not want to miss a night like this. Nora forces her face to stay calm, but inside she is shrinking, folding into herself the way she learned to do long ago. Then her phone vibrates in her clutch. One message. From an unknown number. Please stay near the back wall after the opening remarks. I will find you. Adrian. Nora's throat tightens. She slips the phone away and moves toward the edge of the room, where the shadows feel safer than the spotlight. The program begins. A host steps on stage, cheerful and polished, thanking sponsors, praising generosity, talking about community and impact. Nora barely hears any of it. She is watching the room like a hunted animal, trying to predict where danger will come from. Then the host smiles wider. And now, he says, voice rising, we would like to recognize the man whose leadership made tonight possible. The driving force behind our foundation. The guest of honor. Nora's stomach drops. She turns her head slowly, instinctively searching for Adrian. She expects him to be somewhere near the stage, maybe in a reserved front row, maybe surrounded by executives. But she does not see him. The host spreads his arms. Please welcome, he says, Adrian Cross, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Cross Capital and founder of the Carter Foundation. For a moment, Nora forgets how to breathe. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer. Founder. The words do not fit the man she met in a coffee shop. The man who carried her groceries up a dim stairwell. The man who sat beside her in a park while she drew. The ballroom erupts in applause. And then Adrian stands. Not from the front row. From a table only a few steps from where Nora is standing. He turns slightly, as if he can feel her, and their eyes lock across the room. Nora's chest tightens so hard it hurts. Because in that instant, everything becomes clear. The reason he moved through the city without fear. The reason people at work orbit him like planets. The reason every whispered rumor felt like a loaded gun aimed at her back. He is not just wealthy. He is the kind of power people kneel to without realizing they are kneeling. Adrian walks toward the stage through a sea of admiration. Shaking hands, accepting praise like it is something he has learned to endure. He looks composed, untouchable. But when he reaches the microphone, his gaze drifts again, searching, finding Nora. His voice fills the room, calm and steady. He thanks donors. He speaks about dignity and opportunity and building a community that does not leave people behind. The crowd nods, moved. Nora stands frozen, barely hearing him. Because all she can hear is one sentence repeating in her head, sharp as glass. He never told me. He never told me who he was. When the applause rises again, Nora cannot stay still anymore. Her hands shake. Her vision blurs at the edges. She turns and pushes through the crowd toward the hallway outside the ballroom, past elegant doors and quiet carpeting, until the noise becomes a muffled hum behind her. She leans against the wall and tries to breathe. 1, 2, 3. Her eyes sting, but she refuses to cry here. Not in a place built for people who do not have to earn every breath. Footsteps approach. Slow. Certain. Nora does not look up, but she knows. Adrian stops a few feet away. Nora, he says softly. She finally lifts her gaze. So this is who you are. Adrian's jaw tightens. Yes. Nora laughs once, bitter and disbelieving. You let me talk to you like you were normal. I was normal with you, he says. Nora's voice trembles, anger and hurt tangled together. You watched me worry about rent. You walked into my apartment. You heard me talk about my mom. And you did not think I deserved the truth? Adrian steps closer, eyes steady. I did not hide it to trick you. Then why? Nora demands, her voice cracking. Why did you let me stand there thinking you were just a man? Adrian's expression shifts, something raw breaking through the polished surface. Because with you, he says quietly, I was allowed to be just a man. Nora's breath catches, but the pain does not soften. It sharpens. Do you understand what this does to me? She whispers. Everyone in that room will decide I wanted your money. They will decide I planned it. They will decide I climbed you like a ladder. Adrian's eyes darken. I will not let them. Nora shakes her head, tears finally spilling despite her pride. You cannot control what they believe. And you cannot fix what you started by keeping me in the dark. Adrian takes a step closer, careful, like he is approaching a wound. Tell me what you want. Nora wipes her cheeks with the back of her hand, breathing hard. I want to go back to being invisible, she says, voice breaking. Because being seen in your world is dangerous. Adrian's face tightens like the words hit deep. Nora. She holds up a hand, stopping him. Do not follow me. Then she turns and walks away down the hallway, the ballroom lights glowing behind her like a world she never asked to enter. And Adrian stands there alone, realizing the truth he feared most. He did not just fall for her. He just lost her. The deepest secrets are about to change everything. Subscribe now to catch the dramatic twist that is coming in the next chapter. Nora leaves the gallery that night with her thoughts knotted tight in her chest. She does not sleep much. She lies awake listening to the hum of the city through her thin apartment walls, replaying every look, every word, every moment where she forgot who Adrian really was. By morning, she tells herself she imagined the closeness. At work, she returns to being careful. Too careful. She keeps her eyes on her screen. She speaks only when spoken to. She declines lunch invitations. She leaves exactly on time, afraid that staying late will be misread. But the building has already started to breathe differently around her. She feels it in the pauses when she walks by, in the glances that last half a second too long, in the way conversations stop and restart like nothing happened. On Wednesday afternoon, an email hits every executive inbox. Mandatory attendance, Carter Foundation Winter Benefit Guest of Honor. Adrian Cross. Nora reads the message twice, her pulse thudding. She is listed under administrative staff, expected to attend. That night, she stands in front of her mirror again, smoothing down a simple black dress she bought on sale months ago for emergencies she hoped would never come. Her reflection looks small, too visible. She whispers to herself, just get through it. The hotel ballroom is everything she feared. Crystal chandeliers, white tablecloths, donors who smile like they have never been told no. Nora moves carefully along the perimeter, clutching her program, choosing shadows over centerpieces. She spots people from work immediately. Executives, directors, names she usually hears only in meetings where she takes notes and never speaks. She feels out of place in a way that makes her shoulders ache. Then the whispers reach her. Low, controlled, sharp enough to cut. That is her. I heard she is close to him. No, I heard she is why he canceled the deal. Nora keeps walking, her face neutral, her heart racing. She wants to disappear into the carpet. Her phone vibrates once. A message. Please stay where you are. I see you. Adrian. Her chest tightens. She does not reply. The lights dim slightly as the host steps on stage. Applause ripples across the room. Nora's hands shake as she presses them together. And now, the host says, smiling broadly, we welcome the man whose vision brought us all here tonight. Nora's breath catches. Please welcome our founder, our chairman, our chief executive officer. The host continues, voice full of admiration, Adrian Cross. The applause explodes. Nora turns. And there he is. Not beside her. Not in a coffee shop. Not carrying grocery bags. But standing tall near the front. Perfectly tailored suit. Effortless authority rolling off him like gravity. The room leans toward him. Nora's mind snaps everything into focus at once. The silence people give him. The power he never explained. The danger she felt but could not name. He walks onto the stage, accepting handshakes, nodding politely, owning the space without trying. And then, in the middle of his speech, he does something unexpected. He pauses. His gaze sweeps the room. And then it finds her. Nora feels it like a spotlight. He does not smile. He does not look away. He simply acknowledges her presence with a steady look that says, I see you. I have not forgotten. But for Nora, that look is not comfort. It is confirmation. Every fear she tried to bury rises at once. He finishes his speech to thunderous applause. The room stands. Cameras flash. Glasses clink. Nora cannot stay. She turns and pushes through a side door into the quiet hallway, her heels clicking too loudly against the polished floor. Her chest feels too tight to breathe. She presses her back to the wall, eyes shut. Do not cry, she whispers to herself. Do not do this here. Footsteps approach. She opens her eyes. Adrian stops in front of her. The noise of the ballroom muted behind the heavy doors. I never meant to put you in this position, he says quietly. Nora lets out a shaky laugh. You did not mean to tell me the truth either. Adrian's jaw tightens. I was trying to protect what we had. What we had was built on half a story, Nora replies, her voice breaking. And half a story always hurts the person with less power. He takes a step closer. Let me fix this. She shakes her head. You cannot fix the way people will talk about me. You cannot erase what they will assume. Adrian's voice lowers. I will stand in front of all of them if I have to. And say what? Nora asks. That I am innocent? That I am different? That you chose me. Her eyes shine with unshed tears. That still makes me a subject in your world, not a person in mine. The words land hard. Adrian is silent. Nora takes a breath, steadying herself. I need distance. I need my life back. If you ever cared about me, you will respect that. She steps past him, her shoulder brushing his sleeve. Do not follow me, she says. Adrian watches her walk away down the long hallway, disappearing into the quiet beyond the ballroom lights. For the first time in years, the room behind him feels empty. And for the first time, Nora realizes the truth that hurts the most. Being seen by a powerful man is not a gift. It is a risk. If you want to witness how the coldest millionaire truly falls in love, subscribe now. The shocking truth is always revealed in our next episode. The next morning, Nora walks into Cross Capital like she is walking into a courtroom. Her badge beeps at the turnstile. The lobby smells like polished marble and expensive perfume. Everything looks the same, but the air feels different. People look up when she passes. Not openly, not obviously, just enough to make her skin burn. She keeps her chin level and heads straight to her desk, hands steady on the outside, trembling on the inside. Her inbox is already full. Calendar updates, travel confirmations, meeting notes. A normal workday, except it is not. When she opens the shared executive schedule, she sees it immediately. Adrian Cross has been booked solid all morning. No openings. No gaps. Like he is hiding inside his own power. Nora forces herself to focus. She starts sorting documents, printing agendas, replying to emails with the same polite tone she always uses. Then a voice cuts through the quiet. Nora. She looks up. Vivian Klein stands at the edge of the assistant area, dressed sharp, eyes colder than the glass walls behind her. Vivian is a senior executive, the kind of woman who smiles only when she is winning. We need to talk, Vivian says. Nora's stomach drops. Of course. Vivian does not lower her voice. She does not need to. She glances at Nora's desk like it is something mildly dirty. Last night was interesting. Nora keeps her expression neutral. It was a charity event. Vivian's smile is thin. That is one way to describe it. Another way is that our founder was distracted, looking across the room like he was searching for someone. Nora's throat tightens. I do not know what you are implying. Vivian steps closer, voice silk over steel. You are smart, Nora. Do not insult me by pretending you do not understand how this looks. Nora's hands curl under the desk. I have done nothing inappropriate. Vivian tilts her head. That is what everyone says. Nora takes a slow breath. If you have concerns about my work, you can address them through my supervisor. Vivian's eyes sharpen. Your supervisor is the problem. The words land like a slap. Nora's heart pounds. Excuse me. Vivian leans in slightly. This company was not built on feelings. It was built on discipline. The moment personal attachments start influencing decisions, investors get nervous. The board gets nervous. Nora's voice comes out quiet but firm. Then talk to the board. Leave me out of it. Vivian's smile widens, just a fraction. Oh, sweetheart. You are already in it. She turns and walks away like she never raised her voice, like she never threatened anything at all. Nora sits frozen for a moment, then opens a new document on her computer. Resignation letter. Her fingers hover over the keyboard. She does not want to do this. She cannot afford to do this. But she can feel the trap tightening. If she stays, she becomes a rumor. If she leaves, she becomes a warning. She types anyway, blinking hard as her vision blurs. At the top floor, Adrian stands in his office, staring. At his phone, he has sent 3 messages. Are you safe? Please let me explain. Meet me. Please. No reply. Miles Bennett steps in quietly. Sir, the board has moved up the quarterly review to today. Adrian's jaw tightens. Why? Miles hesitates. Vivian Klein requested it. Adrian's eyes darken. He knows exactly what that means. A knock sounds at the open door. Nora appears. Her face is composed, but her eyes look tired in a way that makes Adrian's chest tighten. She holds a single sheet of paper in both hands. Adrian's voice turns low. Nora, do not. Nora steps forward and places the paper on his desk. Resignation. Adrian stares at it like it is something he cannot accept as real. I cannot keep doing this, Nora says softly. I cannot keep being a risk you did not warn me about. Adrian's hands tighten at his sides. I will fix it. Nora shakes her head once. You cannot fix what your world is built to do to people like me. Her voice breaks on the last word, but she holds eye contact anyway. Adrian looks at the resignation, then back at her, and for the first time, his control slips. Please, he says, barely audible. Do not let them take you from me. Nora's throat tightens, tears shining, but not falling. I am not being taken, she whispers. I am leaving. Then she turns and walks out, and Adrian is left staring at the empty doorway, realizing the fight is no longer about rumors. It is about whether he will finally confront the people who created them. Nora does not cry until she gets home. She closes her apartment door, leans her forehead against the wood, and lets the silence swallow her. Tessa is on the couch, knees pulled up, watching a show with the volume low. She looks up the second Nora steps inside. You quit, Tessa says, not asking. Nora nods once. Her throat is too tight for words. Tessa stands and crosses the room. Come here. Nora shakes her head, but her body betrays her. She collapses into Tessa's arms like she has been holding her breath for years. When the tears come, they are not dramatic. They are quiet, exhausted, the kind of tears that say, I am tired of being brave. I did everything right, Nora whispers. I worked so hard. I stayed small. I stayed polite. And they still turned me into a rumor. Tessa's jaw tightens. They turned you into a rumor because it was easier than admitting you were talented. Nora pulls back, wiping her face fast. Do not say talented. That word does not pay bills. Tessa opens her mouth to argue, but Nora's phone vibrates. One new email. From an unknown sender. Nora almost deletes it without reading, but a single line in the preview makes her freeze. Your work deserves to be seen. Her fingers shake as she opens the message. There is an address, a time, tonight at 7, and a short note beneath it. No speeches, no cameras, no pressure, just the truth. Adrian. Nora's chest tightens with anger and fear at the same time. She does not want to be pulled back into his orbit. She does not want to be a lesson in someone else's life. I am not going, she says out loud. Tessa watches her carefully. You might want to at least see what it is. Nora swallows. It is probably another apology. Tessa's voice softens. Or it might be the first time someone powerful uses their power for the right reason. Nora hates that part of her wants to believe it. At 6:45, she is in the back of a rideshare, staring out the window as the city blurs past. Her palms sweat against her clutch. Her heart feels too loud. The address leads to a small gallery space in a converted warehouse downtown. Nora has walked past buildings like this 100 times and assumed they were for other people. For people with money. For people who already belong. She steps inside and stops. The room is softly lit, walls white and clean, the air smelling faintly of fresh paint. Framed drawings line the space, arranged with care. Not random, not casual, intentional. Nora's sketches, her storefronts, her interiors, her quiet little worlds that she never thought mattered. In the center of the gallery, a simple sign stands on an easel. The art of Nora Hayes. Her breath catches so hard it hurts. No, she whispers. A voice comes from behind her, calm and low. Yes. Nora turns. Adrian stands a few feet away, no suit, no entourage, no board members. Just Adrian. His eyes look tired, like he has not slept since she walked out of his office. Nora's voice shakes. How did you even get these? Adrian nods toward the back wall. You left your sketchbook at the office last week. I should have returned it immediately. I did not. And I am sorry. Nora's throat tightens. That is not an apology. That is a confession. It is both, Adrian says. And you deserve the truth more than you deserve a perfect apology. Nora's gaze flicks back to the frames. This is too much. Adrian takes a slow step closer, careful. It is exactly as much as you are worth. Nora's eyes sting again. Do not do that. Do not turn me into a project. Adrian's jaw tightens. You are not a project. You are a person. And I have been wrong about how my world treats people. I thought I could protect you with silence. I was wrong. Nora's voice comes out raw. You let me trust you while you kept the biggest truth in your pocket. Adrian holds her gaze. Yes. The honesty in that single word knocks the air out of her. He gestures toward a small table near the entrance. On it sits a neat stack of printed invitations, all unsigned, as if waiting for her decision. I booked this space for one night, Adrian says. No press, no donors, no board, just people who care about art. I invited a few local gallery owners who actually buy work from unknown artists. I told them nothing about you except that your work is worth seeing. Nora stares at him, stunned. Why? Adrian's voice lowers. Because you told me you wanted a small studio. A place where people can come in and feel safe. I cannot give you safety in my company if I do not change the company. But I can give your work a door to walk through. Nora's chest rises and falls fast. And what do you want in return? Adrian's eyes soften. Nothing that you do not freely choose. Nora looks back at the sign with her name on it. For a moment, she sees herself as someone other than an assistant. Someone other than a roomer. Then she turns back to Adrian, and her voice steadies. If I give you a chance, she says, it will not be because you built a gallery around me. Adrian nods once. It will be because you tell the truth from now on. Nora continues. No hiding. No half-stories. No protecting me by controlling me. Adrian's throat moves as he swallows. Agreed. Nora's eyes hold his, searching for the old billionaire certainty. What she finds instead is something quieter. Accountability. And as the first guests begin to arrive, their footsteps echoing softly in the gallery, Nora realizes the next choice is hers. Not his. Hers. The gallery fills slowly, the way dawn fills a room. Not with noise, but with presence. People drift from frame to frame, pausing longer than Nora expects. A woman in a wool coat leans in close to study pencil lines. A man with paint on his fingertips smiles to himself like he just found something honest. Someone asks, softly, who is the artist? Nora's throat tightens every time she hears the answer. You are. Adrian says quietly beside her. Not as an announcement, not as ownership, but as a fact she is finally allowed to stand inside. Nora keeps her hands clasped in front of her like she does not know what to do with them when she is not holding a schedule, a phone, a problem. She watches strangers respond to her work as if it is real, as if she is real. A local gallery owner approaches, a woman with sharp eyes and a kind mouth. Nora Hayes? She asks. Nora nods, cautious. I am Marisol Grant, the woman says. Your line work is controlled, but your subjects are soft. That is rare. I would like to talk about representing you. For a second, Nora cannot speak. Her brain scrambles for the version of herself that knows how to be professional, how to negotiate, how to stay calm. Thank you, she manages. Marisol smiles. Do not thank me. You earn this. Call me tomorrow. When Marisol walks away, Nora exhales like she has been underwater. Adrian does not touch her. He does not crowd her. He simply stays close enough that she knows she is not alone. You did that, he says. Nora swallows. I almost did not come. I know, Adrian replies. You would have had every right to disappear. Nora's gaze flicks to him. Do you understand why I wanted to? His eyes hold hers. Yes. That single word matters more than any grand speech. The night continues. More conversations. More quiet praise. A few sales inquiries. Nora's work does not just get seen. It gets taken seriously. And as the last guests leave, the gallery grows still again, the kind of stillness that feels different after something has changed. Nora stands beneath the sign with her name and stares at it, as if it might vanish if she looks away. Adrian steps closer, careful. I did not invite you here to win you back. Nora turns slightly. Then why did you? Adrian's voice lowers. Because you deserved a moment where your talent came first. Not my name. Not my company. Not a rumor. Nora's chest tightens. And your company? Adrian exhales. I called an emergency board session this morning. Vivian Klein is being removed from executive leadership. Effective immediately. Nora's eyes widen. That is not easy to do. It was not easy to watch you get punished for my silence either, he says. I told them something they were not used to hearing. Nora's voice is cautious. What did you tell them? Adrian looks at her steadily. That the next person who treats an employee like a rumor will lose their job. That power in my company will be measured by integrity, not by cruelty. Nora studies his face, searching for performance. What she finds is tired determination. You are changing rules, she says softly. I am correcting them, he replies. I do not want to lead a place that only protects people who already have protection. Nora's eyes sting again, but this time the feeling is not shame. It is recognition. Adrian reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out a folded piece of paper. He does not hand it to her immediately. He holds it like he is offering, not demanding. A new position, he says. If you want it. Nora's brow furrows. What kind of position? Adrian's voice is steady. Creative operations. Community partnerships. A role built around what you actually see that others ignore. It reports to me, but it answers to your values. It comes with safeguards. Written safeguards. Nora's breath catches. And if I say no? Adrian nods once. Then you walk away with your art, your dignity, and my respect. I will not chase you with power again. Nora looks down at the paper, then back at the gallery walls. Her work, her name, her choice. What about us? She asks quietly, and the question surprises even her. Adrian's expression softens, but he does not step closer. He does not try to close the distance with charm. He lets the truth do the work. I want you, he says, but I will not ask you to belong to my life if I am not willing to belong to yours. Nora's throat tightens. My life is small. Adrian shakes his head. Your life is real. Mine was just expensive. Silence hangs between them, tender and honest. Then Nora reaches out and takes the folded paper. Not like a desperate employee, like a woman choosing her next step. I will come back, she says, voice steady. But only if you stay truthful, even when it costs you. Adrian nods, relief and resolve crossing his face. Always. Nora takes a slow breath and finally, for the first time in weeks, she lets herself smile. Then maybe, she says softly, the best mistake we ever made was waking up. Adrian's smile is small, but it is real. I think so. And in the quiet gallery, under the warm lights and the framed proof of her worth, Nora realizes the ending is not a rescue. It is justice. It is choice. It is love that does not demand she shrink. Thank you for joining us for this cinematic adventure. If you want more untold or real stories of billionaire love and redemption, please subscribe and choose your next true heart journey on your screen now.